Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. We're diving into a really fascinating world today,
It is, isn't it?
the world of plants.
Yeah.
We're going to be exploring this incredible creation, from a scientific perspective, but also looking at it from, an Islamic perspective.
Right.
What does Islam teach us about plants? What can we learn from them?
Absolutely. And I think what's really fascinating is, you have everything from these tiny little seeds to these towering redwoods. It's just incredible, the diversity and the design, and, it points back to the creator.
Right. And we're going to be talking about some of the things in the Quran as well.
Yeah.
But first, let's just talk about plants in general. And, I always find it amazing that, we look at a plant and it seems like it's just standing still.
Right.
It's just there. But on the inside,
Yeah.
there's so much going on. There's like all these systems, like their own version of organs and tissues.
Yeah.
It's not exactly the same as humans or animals.
Right, right.
But it's this whole complex, intricate world that we don't even see.
Yeah, and I think what's fascinating about that is that, these tiny little structures, you think about plant cells, right?
Right.
They have these unique things called chloroplasts, and they're like tiny little solar panels,
Okay.
and they're capturing sunlight and turning it into energy. That process is called photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis. I mean, we all learned about it in school,
Yeah.
but I think we forget how amazing that process is.
Right.
That, plants are taking sunlight and they're converting it into energy
Yeah.
that then powers, almost all life on Earth.
Absolutely. I mean, without that process, the world would be a very different place. We wouldn't be here.
Yeah, and they're also breathing, right?
Yeah.
But not in the same way that we do.
Right. So instead of taking in oxygen like we do, they're actually taking in carbon dioxide
Right.
and releasing oxygen. And that process is called respiration.
So they're like cleaning the air for us.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yes.
kind of like it's this perfect system, Allah created where plants and humans actually support each other.
Yeah, they work in harmony.
That's amazing. And they're also playing this role in regulating the climate.
Absolutely, yeah, through transpiration.
Right.
They're releasing water vapor into the atmosphere.
Oh, wow.
And that contributes to rainfall patterns and helps cool the planet.
That's amazing. I never thought about, plants as natural air conditioners.
Yeah, they're doing all this behind the scenes. We just don't see it.
Right. And speaking of things we don't see, you mentioned earlier, the different sizes of plants.
Yeah.
And I remember reading about this seagrass that's absolutely massive.
Yeah.
Do you know the one I'm talking about?
I think so. Posidonia australis, right?
Yeah. I mean, give us a sense of how big this thing is, because it's hard to even imagine.
Yeah, so imagine like a single plant stretching over 180 kilometers.
SubhanAllah.
That's longer than the entire Great Barrier Reef.
Wow. I mean, I can't even picture that in my head. That's huge.
It's enormous. And what's even more remarkable is that they estimate this seagrass to be around 4,500 years old.
4,500 years old.
Yeah, making it one of the oldest living organisms on Earth.
I mean, this one plant has witnessed so much history,
Yeah.
SubhanAllah. And it just makes you think about, the vastness of time
Absolutely.
and the resilience of Allah's creations.
Yeah.
I mean, to survive that long is incredible. And it's not just about size, right?
Right.
There's so much diversity in the plant world.
Yeah, there is. I mean, you think about the towering redwoods. You've got the delicate orchids, the resilient cacti.
Right?
Each species perfectly adapted to its environment.
It really showcases Allah's design, SubhanAllah.
Absolutely.
Speaking of adaptations, cacti,
Yes.
they're able to thrive in these really harsh, dry environments.
Yeah.
How do they do that? How do they survive when so many other plants wouldn't be able to?
So they've evolved these fascinating mechanisms to conserve water. Cacti use a special kind of photosynthesis called photosynthesis.
Okay.
It's like they work the night shift.
Okay.
So they open their pores at night when it's cooler, absorb the CO2, and they store it.
Okay.
And then during the day, they use that stored CO2 to make food.
Oh, wow.
But they keep their pores closed during the day to save water.
So it's like they've figured out a way to make the most
Yeah.
of these challenging conditions.
Absolutely.
And, it's interesting because we talk about, the amazing things that plants do,
Yeah.
but we often take for granted how much they actually do for us.
That's true.
They're like the unsung heroes of our planet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are providing us with the oxygen that we breathe. They're purifying our air and water.
Right.
And they're playing this huge role in sustaining life on Earth. And that's not even to mention, their contributions to our economy and our culture.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, think about the food we eat.
Exactly.
The wood that we use for building.
Yeah.
the beautiful landscapes that they create.
Yeah.
It's just incredible the impact they have on our lives.
Yeah.
And it's easy to overlook that sometimes.
It is, and the scale of it.
The scale of it, yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
And, I was thinking about willow bark.
Yeah.
It's used to create aspirin, right?
That's right.
It's incredible to me how, we can get medicine from plants.
And for centuries, you know, people have recognized the medicinal properties of plants. You think about traditional healing systems all around the world.
Right.
They've been using herbs, roots, flowers for their healing properties.
Right.
And even today, modern medicine is still drawing inspiration from the plant world.
To find new treatments and cures.
Absolutely.
SubhanAllah, it's like Allah has given us this living pharmacy filled with all these remedies.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And it's not just about physical healing either, right?
Right.
The beauty and the tranquility of nature has such a profound impact on our mental and emotional well-being.
Absolutely. I mean, you think about gardens and parks. These spaces offer relaxation and contemplation. They remind us of the peace and serenity that we can find in Allah's creation.
Yeah, there's just something so grounding about being surrounded by greenery.
Yeah.
Listening to the rustling leaves, the chirping of birds. It's like a balm for the soul.
Yeah, it's a reminder to slow down, appreciate the simple things, connect with the natural world that Allah has created for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of connecting with nature, I've been thinking a lot lately about our responsibility as Muslims to care for the environment.
Right.
It seems like every day we hear about these threats facing our planet, climate change, deforestation.
Yeah.
Where do plants fit into all of this, and how can we help protect them?
Well, plants are at the forefront of these environmental challenges.
Okay.
They're the first to be impacted by habitat loss, pollution, climate change.
Right.
But at the same time, they're also a vital part of the solution.
Oh, that's interesting. How so?
Well, through photosynthesis, plants absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and they act as natural carbon sinks.
Oh.
And that helps to mitigate the effects of climate change by reducing the amount of greenhouse gases in the air.
So protecting existing forests and planting new trees can really make a difference.
Absolutely. Trees are particularly effective at absorbing carbon dioxide.
Right.
In fact, a single mature tree can absorb up to 48 pounds of carbon dioxide per year.
SubhanAllah. It's amazing. It's like taking a car off the road for a whole month.
Yeah, it's incredible.
That's incredible. And
Yeah.
what about the plants that are already endangered?
Yeah.
What can we do to protect them?
Well, there's a lot we can do. We can support organizations that are dedicated to protecting endangered species, preserving natural habitats.
Right.
We can educate ourselves about the threats facing plants in our local areas.
Okay.
And advocate for policies that promote their protection.
I remember reading about seed banks.
Yeah.
Where they're storing seeds from all over the world to kind of safeguard plant diversity. It's like a Noah's Ark for plants.
Exactly, yeah. Seed banks are playing a crucial role in preserving that genetic diversity.
Right.
So even if a species goes extinct in the wild, there's still a chance to bring it back.
It's really a testament to human ingenuity.
Yeah.
And our commitment to safeguarding Allah's creation.
Absolutely.
And it's a reminder that even small actions can have a ripple effect,
But they can.
Choosing to buy sustainably sourced products, reducing our consumption of resources, minimizing our impact on the environment.
Right.
All of these things can contribute to the well-being of the plant kingdom and ultimately to the health of our planet.
Absolutely. It all comes back to our role as Khalifa.
As stewards of Allah's creation.
Exactly. The Quran reminds us that the earth is a trust given to us by Allah.
Right.
And we're not simply its owners. We're its caretakers. We're entrusted with the responsibility of preserving its beauty and bounty for future generations.
And speaking of the Quran, I'm curious to learn more about the specific plants that are mentioned in it and their significance. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the Quran speaks of numerous plants, and it often highlights their symbolism and the lessons that we can learn from them.
Okay.
Like the date palm, for example. It's mentioned numerous times.
Right.
And it symbolizes resilience, abundance, steadfastness. It thrives in harsh environments, yet it produces sweet, nourishing fruit.
Right.
And that reminds us that even in the face of adversity, we can still bear good fruit if we have faith in Allah's provision.
That's a beautiful analogy.
Yeah.
What about the olive tree?
Yeah, the olive tree is a symbol of peace, prosperity, blessing.
Okay.
Its oil is both nourishing and healing, and it reminds us of the bounty and mercy of Allah.
Right.
And then you have the fig tree. It's often mentioned alongside the olive tree,
Okay.
and it represents the diversity and richness of Allah's creation.
It's amazing how, something as simple as a plant can hold such profound meaning and symbolism.
Yeah, and they're not just mentioned in passing either.
Right.
They're often used in metaphors and similes to convey these deeper spiritual truths. Like the Quran often compares the growth of a plant to the spiritual growth of a believer,
Okay.
emphasizing the importance of nurturing our faith, seeking knowledge, striving to bear good fruit in our lives.
It's a powerful image.
It is.
And it makes you realize that there's so much wisdom to be gleaned from observing the natural world around us.
Absolutely. Allah has placed these signs throughout creation for those who reflect and seek understanding.
And as Muslims, we are encouraged to seek knowledge, to contemplate the wonders of Allah's creation, and to draw closer to Him through these reflections.
Absolutely.
It's a form of worship, isn't it?
It is. The pursuit of knowledge, particularly knowledge about the natural world, is a form of worship.
And it deepens our appreciation for Allah's power and wisdom.
It does.
And strengthens our connection to Him.
Yeah, it does. And it's important to acknowledge that our relationship with plants isn't just about understanding these biological processes or even their symbolic meanings. It's also about cultivating a sense of reverence and gratitude for these incredible gifts from Allah.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Our appreciation should go beyond just the intellectual. It should extend to the spiritual.
Absolutely. We should be grateful for their beauty, their utility,
Right.
their role in sustaining life on Earth.
This reminds me of a hadith where the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, he encouraged planting trees even if the day of judgment were to begin.
Yeah.
Such a powerful message.
It is. It underscores the importance of leaving a positive legacy,
Right.
contributing to the well-being of others, and having hope even in the face of uncertainty.
It's a reminder that our actions in this world have consequences.
Yeah.
And even seemingly small acts of kindness, like planting a tree,
Right.
can have a lasting impact.
And the rewards for such acts aren't limited to this life.
Right.
The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, also said that whoever plants a tree and diligently cares for it
Right.
will have a reward for that in the hereafter.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah.
It's amazing how, even acts that benefit the environment are considered acts of worship in Islam.
It's a beautiful example of how our faith encompasses all aspects of our lives,
Yeah.
From our interactions with the natural world
Right.
to our relationships with one another
Right.
and our responsibilities to future generations.
And speaking of future generations, what legacy do we want to leave for them
Right.
when it comes to our planet and the plant kingdom?
That is the crucial question, isn't it?
It is.
We have an obligation to ensure that future generations inherit a world that is healthy, vibrant, teeming with life.
Yeah.
We must act as responsible stewards,
Mhm.
protect existing forests, promote sustainable agriculture, and advocate for policies that prioritize environmental conservation.
And it all starts with awareness, right?
It does.
Recognizing the interconnectedness of all creation.
Yeah,
And understanding that our actions, no matter how small, can have a ripple effect.
but they can. We each have a role to play
We do.
in preserving the wonders of the plant kingdom for ourselves
Yeah.
and for generations to come.
Absolutely.
It's a responsibility we all share.
It is, and it's an honor,
Yeah.
to be able to contribute to that legacy.
It is. It's a gift.
It is.
And we should cherish it. Yeah, it's fascinating, how much we actually rely on plants for our lives. They
Mhm.
really are woven into every aspect of our existence.
It's true. We rely on them for, the air we breathe, the clothes we wear,
Yeah.
even, the medicines that heal us.
Right.
And, speaking of medicines, we were talking about willow bark earlier,
Yeah.
being used to create aspirin.
It's incredible. Yeah.
I mean, that's just amazing to me.
Yeah. And it's not just aspirin. For centuries, people have recognized the medicinal properties of plants. I mean, you think about traditional healing systems all around the world.
Yeah.
They've been using herbs and roots and flowers
Right.
for their potent, healing properties. And even today, modern medicine is still looking to the plant world, for inspiration.
Yeah, to find new treatments and cures.
Absolutely.
It's incredible, subhanAllah. It's like Allah has given us this living pharmacy
It really is, yeah.
filled with all these remedies.
Yeah, it's a gift.
It is a gift. And it's not even just about, physical healing. But
Yeah,
there's also the beauty and the tranquility of nature that impacts us
absolutely. Yeah.
mentally, emotionally.
Absolutely. I mean, think about, just gardens and parks.
Right.
These places offer us spaces for relaxation, contemplation. They
Right.
remind us of the peace and serenity that we can find in Allah's creation.
Yeah, there's just something so grounding about being surrounded by greenery. You
Yeah,
know,
it is, yeah.
listening to the rustling leaves, the chirping of birds.
Yeah,
Like you said, it's a balm for the soul.
it is, yeah. It's a reminder to slow down, appreciate the simple things,
Yeah.
connect with the natural world that Allah has created for us.
Connect with nature.
Yeah. And speaking of connecting with nature, I've been thinking a lot lately about our responsibility as Muslims to care for the environment. It seems like every day we're hearing about these threats that are facing our planet.
We are, yeah.
Climate change, deforestation.
It's a big concern.
It is. So where do plants fit into all of this? How can we help protect them?
So plants are actually at the forefront of these environmental challenges.
Okay.
They're the first to be impacted by habitat loss, by pollution, by climate change.
Right.
But at the same time, they're a vital part of the solution.
Well, that's interesting. How so?
So through photosynthesis, plants absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere.
Right.
So they act as these natural carbon sinks.
Okay.
And that helps to reduce the amount of greenhouse gases in the air, so it mitigates the effects of climate change.
So protecting existing forests and planting new trees can really make a difference then.
Absolutely, yeah. Trees are especially effective at absorbing that carbon dioxide.
In fact, a single mature tree can absorb up to 48 pounds of carbon dioxide per year.
Wow, subhanAllah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
It's like taking a car off the road for a whole month.
It really is, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what about plants that are already endangered?
Yeah.
What can we do to protect them?
So there are a lot of things that we can do.
Yeah.
We can support organizations that are dedicated to protecting those endangered species,
Right.
preserving those natural habitats.
Okay.
Educate ourselves about the threats that are facing plants, in our local areas.
Yeah.
Advocate for policies that promote their protection.
I was reading about seed banks
Yeah.
where they're storing seeds from all over the world
Yeah.
as a way to safeguard plant diversity. It's like a Noah's Ark for plants.
It is. It's
Right.
exactly what it is, yeah. And those seed banks are playing a crucial role, in preserving that genetic diversity.
Right.
So that even if a species, goes extinct in the wild, there's a chance to bring it back.
Right? It's amazing. It's a testament to human ingenuity
It is.
and our commitment to safeguarding Allah's creation.
It is.
And it's a reminder that even small actions can have a ripple effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Choosing to buy sustainably sourced products,
Right.
reducing our consumption of resources,
Yeah.
minimizing our impact on the environment.
Yeah.
All of these things contribute to the well-being
Yeah.
of the plant kingdom
Absolutely.
and ultimately to the health of our planet
It all comes back to our role as Khalifa.
as stewards of Allah's creation.
Exactly. The Quran reminds us that the earth is a trust that's given to us by Allah.
Right.
We're not simply its owners.
Right.
We are its caretakers.
Right.
We are entrusted with this responsibility of preserving its beauty, its bounty
Right.
for future generations.
And, speaking of the Quran, I'm curious to learn more about the specific plants that are mentioned in the Quran and their significance.
Okay.
What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the Quran, speaks of numerous plants, and it often highlights their symbolism, and the lessons that we can learn from them.
Right.
Like the date palm, for example.
Right.
It's mentioned numerous times, and it symbolizes resilience and abundance, steadfastness.
Okay.
And it thrives in harsh environments, yet it produces this sweet, nourishing fruit.
Right.
And, it reminds us that even in the face of adversity, we can still bear good fruit if we have faith in Allah's provision.
It's a beautiful analogy.
It is, yeah.
What about the olive tree? I've heard that mentioned as well.
The olive tree, it's
Uh.
a symbol of peace, prosperity, blessing.
Okay.
And its oil, it's nourishing and healing.
Right.
It reminds us of the bounty and mercy of Allah.
Right.
And then you have the fig tree, which is often mentioned alongside the olive tree.
Okay.
And that represents the diversity and the richness of Allah's creation.
Yeah. It's amazing how something as simple as a plant can hold such profound meaning and symbolism.
It is, yeah.
Mhm.
And it's important to remember that these plants aren't just mentioned in passing. They're often used in these metaphors and similes to convey these deeper spiritual truths.
Okay.
Like the Quran often compares the growth of a plant to the spiritual growth of a believer,
Okay.
emphasizing, the importance of nurturing our faith, seeking knowledge, striving to bear good fruit in our lives.
Right. That's a powerful image.
Yeah.
And it makes you realize that there's so much wisdom that we can glean from observing the natural world around us.
Absolutely, yeah. Allah has placed signs throughout creation for those who reflect and seek understanding.
Yeah, and as Muslims, we are encouraged to seek knowledge, to contemplate the wonders of Allah's creation,
We are.
and to draw closer to Him through these reflections.
Absolutely. The pursuit of knowledge, it's especially knowledge about the natural world, is a form of worship.
It is.
It deepens our appreciation, for Allah's power and wisdom.
Yeah.
And it strengthens our connection to Him.
It really does. And, I think it's important to acknowledge that our relationship with plants isn't just about, understanding these biological processes
Right.
or even their symbolic meanings.
Right.
It's also about cultivating a sense of reverence and gratitude for these incredible gifts from Allah.
Absolutely, yeah. Our appreciation for plants should go beyond just the intellectual
Right.
and extend to the spiritual.
It should.
We should be grateful for their beauty, their utility,
Yeah.
their role in sustaining life on Earth.
And this reminds me of a hadith where the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, he encouraged planting trees,
Yes.
even if the day of judgment were to begin.
It's a powerful message.
It is.
It underscores, the importance of leaving a positive legacy,
Right.
of contributing to the well-being of others,
Right.
and having hope even in the face of uncertainty.
It's a reminder that, our actions in this world have consequences.
They do.
And even seemingly small acts of kindness like planting a tree can have a lasting impact.
A lasting impact.
Yeah. And, the rewards for these acts aren't limited to this life.
They're not, no. The prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, also said that whoever plants a tree and diligently cares for it,
Yeah. Right.
will have a reward for that in the hereafter.
SubhanAllah, it's amazing how even acts that benefit the environment are considered acts of worship in Islam.
Yeah, it's a beautiful example of how our faith, encompasses all aspects of our lives.
It does.
From our interactions with the natural world
Right?
to our relationships with one another
Right.
and our responsibilities to future generations.
And speaking of future generations, what legacy do we want to leave for them
Right.
when it comes to our planet and the plant kingdom?
That is the crucial question, isn't it?
It is.
We have an obligation to ensure that future generations inherit a world that is healthy and vibrant and teeming with life.
Yeah.
We must act as responsible stewards, protect existing forests, promote sustainable agriculture, and advocate for policies that prioritize environmental conservation.
And it all starts with awareness.
It
right?
is, yeah.
Recognizing that interconnectedness of all creation
Yeah.
and understanding that our actions, no matter how small, they can have a ripple effect.
Absolutely. We each have a role to play in preserving the wonders of the plant kingdom for ourselves and for generations to come.
Absolutely. It's a responsibility that we all share.
We do.
It's inspiring to think that we can contribute to that legacy,
It is.
honoring the trust that Allah has placed in us.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of plants,
Yeah.
is there a final thought, a parting piece of wisdom
Okay.
you'd like to share with our listeners?
I think what's really fascinating is how much we can learn from just the humility of plants.
Okay.
They don't boast about their vital role in sustaining life.
Right.
They simply exist. They're performing their tasks silently and diligently, offering their beauty, their bounty,
Right.
without demanding recognition.
Right.
And perhaps that's a lesson for us as well,
Yeah.
to strive for sincerity in our actions,
Right.
to serve others without seeking praise,
Right.
and to find joy in, simply fulfilling our purpose as Allah's creations.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful reminder.
Yeah.
As we go about our daily lives, it's easy to get disconnected from the natural world.
It is, yeah.
But as we've explored today, plants really offer us this profound connection
Yeah.
to Allah's wisdom, His mercy, His creativity.
Absolutely.
And they remind us of, that delicate balance of life on Earth
Yeah.
and inspire us to act as responsible stewards
They do, yeah.
of this precious gift.
Absolutely. And next time that you see a plant,
Yeah.
whether it's, a towering tree in a forest or a delicate flower in a garden,
Right.
or even a simple blade of grass pushing through the pavement,
Right.
take a moment to really observe it. Reflect on its intricate design, its
Yes.
role in the ecosystem,
Yeah.
and its significance in Allah's grand plan.
May we all strive to deepen our appreciation for the wonders of the plant kingdom
Inshallah.
and to live in a way that honors the trust that Allah has placed in us, to
Absolutely.
care for His creation. Jazakallah khair for joining us on this journey of discovery.
Wa iyyakum. May Allah bless you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.